Hello and welcome to Oracle Television Network. My name is Peter Nkansah. Well, today we're going to talk about success. Before we came to the studios, my guest reminded me the word success is what they call a protein word, meaning it depends on who is using it and what it means to the person. Everybody defines it differently. So, what is success and what does it mean to you? Well, at 18 years, she wrote her first book, Everyday Success. And on the show today, I want to know more about what everyday success is all about. Stay right here with me. Do not go anywhere. Right after this break, I'm going to introduce my guest. Hello and welcome back. You're still right here with us on Oracle Television Network. My name is Peter Nkansah. Well, at 18 years, she wrote her very first book, Everyday Success. Believe you me, our guest today knows a thing or two about success, and we want to squeeze everything out of her today. Well, she's still a student at the University of Albany in New York, and she's doing amazing things. Well, want to know everything about her and what she's doing. In the studios today is Miss Gertrude Morgan. How are you doing, Gertrude?
I am awesome.
It's good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm pretty excited to be here too.
Yeah, but I'm told you like to go by Trudy.
Yes, that's correct.
Is that a nickname? Somebody gave it to you?
It's just like a
Your
short
mom,
form.
dad gave it to you?
Trudy. You know, a lot of people call me Trudy, like the sound of Trudy more. You know, no offense to my dad, but I prefer Trudy.
You better hope he's not listening.
He actually calls me Trudy too, so I believe we're on the same page yet.
Well, what do I know? So what was going through your head at 18 that you wanted to write a book?
Well, I was a teenager and I wanted to stand out, understanding that there's a general way, you know, many teenagers go, a general path many teenagers go on, and so I just wanted to step out of that path and create my own. And it took me a lot of thinking. It was challenging, but it was exciting at the same time. So I wanted to branch out, and through that branching out, the thinking, the meditation, the experience helped me write the book.
That's amazing, because at 18, not many people will say they've had a lot of experiences. What kind of experiences were you motivated by to write this book?
Well, you know, in the least, I am an immigrant. You know, I am originally from Ghana, and I came to the United States when I was 15. And looking at my life back home and my life here, and being able to look at my life from two different lenses helped me to think about life in a whole different way. I think for me the peak point was when my mom passed away when I was 14, and it made me think more critically. It made me think about what life meant, like what's life, how more life could be, and so that really became it became the main peak, the peak for me to be able to look at life in a certain way, and I would say that matured me. And so once I came to the United States, and also being exposed to all the resources and opportunities to be able to flourish and grow in what I wanted to do, helped me to do that.
Amazing, obviously, and you do even sound even much more mature, because I have read the book. And
thank you.
An 18-year-old, that's really good. Everyday success. What is it really about?
Well, Everyday Success is, I'll say, is a very simple book, which lays out things we all know. I take everyday things we do. We wake up, we use the bathroom. It sounds a little, corny or cheesy, but I take these things we do all the time and try to associate how success, like our understanding of success, or even if not so, like certain characteristics of success is how closely attached they are to what we do every single day. And so it's meant to provide sort of like a simple outline and foundation for people who want to be successful. And Everyday Success is almost guarantees that once you continue to do the things we do normally, but also have a sort of like a metaphorical understanding of how these things can affect our success overall, then it guarantees that we will be successful in everything that we do in all areas of our life.
Right. Success, I've read a lot of books, I have read a lot of articles, I've read a lot of blogs. Everybody kind of defines success differently. Is that why you said early on that the word success is like a protein word and everybody defines it differently? How do you see success?
Yeah, it's very true, and because of that reason, many people, I have met people who feel like success is distant, because they have a certain view of success, and especially because we also live in a capitalist society. I just think success is materialistic. So there are people who think that because it's materialistic, it's distant from them because they don't have the necessary materials to help them succeed. And there are some people who just do not like the sound of success, because it's just associated with all these negativity, or it's almost like you have to do more or do something out of your reach or out of your nature to be able to get to that point.
And that's so true, because many times when we think of success, we're thinking of the cars, we're talking about the bling blings, we're talking about the houses. We're talking about all the material association to good living. But you see success differently.
Yeah. And so in my book, actually, I do talk about winning, and I talk about success, and I give what I see success to be is doing your best. What God has given you, your abilities, your capabilities, your talents, doing your best, doing things to the best of your ability, so that you'll be able to bring the best in others.
So that's your kind of definition for success.
Yeah, and it might sound a little complicated and all over the place, but it's just finding your place. It's finding your purpose, and then being able to live accordingly to it without feeling the pressure of competition, without feeling the pressure of being overwhelmed, because that's what winning does. Winning brings you into a state of competition, and you feel like you have to be able to win. You have to be able to get better than the other. But I think if we start to understand success as something less of material and more of almost like humanity, and something transcendent, something much more almost like sacred, if for lack of a better word, and something good, and not just again limited to physical.
So what I'm drawing from this is you're saying that it's more of a mental aptitude and attitude towards something, much more than an expectation of a sort of living, sort of lifestyle. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. And I do not, like die down. I do not debunk the idea of like, having a wonderful life and, the materials you talked about, the bling bling,
Right.
and all of that. But I do see that as a very almost like minute part of what success really is.
Right.
Because as many might know, you could have all the money in the world, could have all the cars in the world, whatever material or assets you have, and still not feel successful. It is
Right.
true,
Right.
in that sense. And so, yeah, it takes more of the mindset. It takes more of the emotions. It takes more bringing all, I like to call them the alleys, like spiritually, emotionally, morally, everything together. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm going to go for a break, but before we do that, what is this thing about the relationship between success and winning, and you bringing out the analogy of salt and soup? I thought it was interesting. What was it all about?
Yeah, so, think about it this way. Whenever you think of salt, what's the first thing that comes into your mind?
Food.
Food.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like to eat salt for breakfast, though, would you?
No way.
Absolutely.
That's disgusting.
Exactly. Whenever I think of salt, the first thing I think of it is bitter. It's bitter. At
So
least
you wouldn't think of food?
food, of course. I definitely think of food. Salt is used to enhance food, and I think that is a very relevant role salt plays. But that's how I see the relationship between winning and success. Winning is just a part. It's almost like shaking the salt in the soup, and that's why I relate the soup. I relate success to soup, and then I relate winning to salt, because in my mind, winning is almost like a subset of success. Again, I'm not trying to say winning is irrelevant, because hey, winning sometimes makes us feel good.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes
I like to win.
Exactly.
I'm very competitive, and I like to win.
Right, we got to talk about that, but yeah, and so what happens is many people focus on the salt. It's like, yeah, I'm an enhancer, is the salt, and we recognize that if salt stands alone, it is bitter, but then if salt is able to enhance by being the main ingredient to make the food or the soup, whatever it is, better, then it's able to it's able to make things work. Then salt is not just this, doesn't play this role of being better by standing alone.
Right.
Or even if it has to preserve, it preserves because it has something.
Right.
There's something added to it, or it has to add itself to something. That's how I should put it.
Right.
So the idea of salt and soup is that when it isn't enough, basically, and if it stands alone, truly doesn't take you very far.
Winning isn't enough, and it won't take you that far if it's just standing alone. Well, I'm going to go for a break right here. When I come back, Trudy in her book wants people to concentrate on daily habits and not necessarily having the big goals and trying to cross them off at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year. She wants us to concentrate on daily habits, and want to find out why right after the break.
You're still right here with us on Oracle Television Network. We're talking about success, and guest is still in the studios, Trudy Morgan. Every day is success. Well, before the break, she was talking about the fact that winning is not enough. But I just want to move a little further in her book, where she tries to talk about the fact that, we need to concentrate on daily habits and winning or being successful in our daily habits, other than having to have like big goals and trying to cross them off at the end of the month or at the end of the year or even quarterly. But I want to find out, Trudy, why do we need to have daily habits and try to be successful in these things that we do?
Big goals are important. Don't want us to throw that out. Big goals are important.
Yeah.
But they always say little drops of water makes a mighty ocean, and Lao Tzu also says that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step, and that's what I want each and every one of us to picture, because many times when you set that big goal that you want to lose 50 pounds, in the next 3 months, for instance, you freak out. You look at it on your wall, you see it every day, but you freak out because 50 sounds impossible.
Right.
But then if you break it down, if you intentionally break it down to like daily things you could do, maybe just taking half less of the proportion of food you take, every day.
That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem.
It is going to be.
No way.
Nothing is, it might be a problem, which we can talk about later, and again, problem, the word and what it means, but it is doable, or at least you would agree with me that it feels less difficult, if it's like 50 pounds in 3 months
why
versus...
don't we do a quarter? Why do I have to do half? We can do a quarter.
You can start that. That's even perfect. Little drops of water, Hans. Little drops of water makes a mighty ocean.
That's really helpful.
Yeah, but one thing I found out to be true, taking this, understanding this idea that the things we do every day can actually have a long-term impact, helped me personally a lot. And when I say everyday success, I am literally talking about the things we do every day, Hans. You wake up in the morning, maybe you stretch a little bit, you maybe read or meditate, whatever you do in the morning,
right.
Your daily hype.
You don't want to know, but yeah.
Whatever you do, get ready, whether you eat, whatever you do. So it's like things like that. Like the first chapter, for instance, is Wake Up. That's the title, it's like Wake Up. And yes, we do that every morning. We wake up to consciousness, and we want to be able to go about our daily lives. But what does it also mean to wake up in a successful manner,
So wait a minute. Are you talking about the fact that you didn't have a big goal, but break it into little chunks?
Yes.
In order to accomplish it, other than having to kind of have different set of routine every morning? Is that what are you trying to talk about?
Yeah, and it's just coming to that. I think again, it's more of the mindset, right? It's like coming to that point where it's so easy to be able to pursue these broken down routines, because it's something you do just as you are. It's something you do just like you wake up in the morning every single day. And so it's like associating that to seeing how those two come together. And for instance, like once upon a time, I wake up in the morning, I wouldn't set my bed. I just wake up and I'm like, yeah, I'm busy. I'm going to go and get to these other stuff which are more relevant. Right. Maybe there's a work I did the night before and I have to do it. But every morning I am inclined, every single morning, whenever I wake up, no matter what, whether I'm going to go out and come back 3 hours later, to make sure I've set my bed.
So wait a minute, is that a way to keep you tidy, or what?
Well, it does kill two birds with one stone, because then it makes me tidy, but it always reminds me that, okay, I've woken up, I've set my bed, and this means that the things I have planned to make my life successful in the next 10 years begins now. So it is a very, very important reminder for me when I set my bed every morning.
Well, that's so true. Like the beginning of the year, I never do New Year resolutions. I don't do them because usually I fail. This time I wanted to try. It was an epic fail anyways, but I wanted to start running you know, because I wanted to lose some pounds. I wanted to shed off a couple of pounds, you know. So I wanted to start running. And I thought of this big goal, you know, every day I'm going to run for like 30 minutes. And I'm going to do that Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, I had all these things planned out. And I realized the first day I couldn't run for 30 minutes. Second day I couldn't run for 30 minutes. And so I gave up. Then the following week, I'm like, you know, maybe if I can just break it down to just walking, you know. So I started and I just walked for like, I could walk for 30 minutes, yeah. And then, you know, I just started jogging a little bit for 10 minutes. I jogged for 15 minutes.
Right.
Before I knew I could actually do 30 minutes. You know, it became an epic fail because I never continued. But I kind of understand how breaking the big goal into little chunks kind of really affect the overall goal at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't do that, it seems unachievable. And I know that is what has been, unfortunately, the failure of many people who want to be successful, whatever it means to them. It's they fail to see it as achievable because, again, for many people, success is kind of distant. It's like, oh, this thing they need to struggle really hard to reach. But then what this book does is to remind everyone who reads it constantly, each and every single day, that just as, I don't want to say it's just as easy as it is as in waking up, because sometimes waking up can be difficult. Sometimes you can have a really bad nightmare and all you want to do is just, I don't know, cover your head and do something.
Yep.
But if you be able to relieve that and see how that helps in making us reach out for our goals, then I'm sure that our routine to success, our walk to success will be much more fun, much more exciting, and much more feasible, at least in our ears and eyes.
Right. Let me just move a little further into the book where you talk about problems. And then you mentioned that problems are not that problematic and that we need to look at problems in different lenses. What kind of spectacle are you asking us to look through when it comes to problems?
It's I think that's definitely one a lot of people might be, will struggle with when they read the book. The whole idea of problems not being problematic. Like,
Because
what?
problems already are problematic. Like we
Problems
don't
are
have them called
problems. Exactly. This is something, it was almost like an awareness that I got one time I was in the bus. It seemed like everything that was going on, it was just one day I was in the bus. I was in high school and I was coming back home, and it seems like in the entire day everything went wrong. I don't know if you've had those moments where you wake up in the morning and you just have a feeling that things are going to go wrong. But yeah, anyway, it was just wrong. Like everything was just bad, and I got back home and I thought about it. I like to have those thinking moments, and I thought about it. And I was like, I am looking at it from this perspective. I think I had so many problems today. But what if this thing that happened was actually a blessing in disguise? And I tried to reinterpret it in so many ways. Right. And the conclusion I came to is the problems I had that day were actual, but they were not real.
What's the difference between actuality and reality?
So actuality is, it's happened, right? But reality is there's this fear that hasn't come to pass yet. And I'll give an example. I think the example I use in my book is a child is afraid of the dark. Like many times you find out that kids are afraid of the dark, not necessarily because of the dark itself. It sounds a little, but I don't think a child is afraid of the dark of the night, like I'm out, the sun is down, I'm afraid, no, but it's because they have this fear in the back of their minds that there might be a ghost around or there are monsters, so there's this element. I think there's this element that makes a difference. And so
don't you think those are presumptive realities probably from the television that they watch?
Exactly. But it's almost, it's almost like a paradox. They are presumptive. Right. So they are not realized yet. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right. So somebody said that over 98% of the things we actually fear and worry about usually never come to pass. So there you go. There you have it. So that's it. Because many times
whenever we think of problems, the reason why we dwell so much on the actuality of it, that is the fact that, okay, we are able to it's almost like think about it and define and say, okay, this is a problem. We dwell on that so much because we forget that, well, we have it's not really been realized. In that sense, I think my book makes it a little clearer in that sense. But again, I say problems are not problematic because many problems we have are actual, but they are not real.
You may have a problem right now and it just may be actual and not necessarily real. Well, we're going to go for another break. When we come back, we're going to look at instant gratification. In her book, Everyday Success, she talks about instant gratification and says they are stone throw steps to success. We want to find out what all these things is about. Hang on, we'll be right back after the break. Hello and welcome back. You're still right here with us on Oracle Television Network. Before the break, I did recap that we would be talking about instant gratification. It's actually one of the chapters in Trudy's book. And Trudy, you talk about instant gratification being a stone throw step to success. What is that all about?
Yeah, so when I talked about that, I wanted us to, just envision how far do you think you go if you threw a stone?
As far as the strength of my arm would allow me.
Absolutely. And so when I talk about IG, instant gratification or IG.
I'm glad you clarified before someone thinks it's Instagram.
Oh, no. The IG syndrome makes it look like you are successful, you're there, but you're really not. And so I like to think of it as going beyond winning, but also still not getting to success, because instant gratification gets you to your now rather than getting you to your optimal best.
Can you give me an example?
Let's think of let's use a microwave, right? Let's think of food that you can. I don't know. Have you ever tried to microwave a hot dog before?
Oh yeah.
And as compared to microwaving a hot dog and putting it on the grill for maybe 10 minutes, as compared to 2 minutes in the microwave, truly, you find out that the taste is very, very different.
Very different. One is grill, one is microwave.
Absolutely, and I bet you prefer the grilled one over the microwave every single time. But sometimes you can't wait, right? You can't wait. You want right away. Maybe you have to rush to work or whatnot. And so, in that sense, especially because we live in a microwave society, in a microwave world, we want things now because it's doable, it's possible. But at the end of the day, we find out that there is a better option out there. It's going to take a little more time, but there's a better option which is going to make us more satisfied.
So you're talking about process, skipping processes.
Absolutely. It's almost like thinking of shortcuts in life. Like, we because there is the opportunity to do that, many people decide to take shortcuts in life when they should have rather gone through the process.
Well, somebody said that the longest distance between 2 points is a shortcut.
Interesting. I wonder how, would you have any idea where he was coming from that?
Right, because when you have a straight line, naturally that's actually is the shortest way to get to your destination. But if you decide if the line is crooked like this, like that, if you stretch it, you're going to have a very, very, very longer line. So at best, just stay with the process and go on with the process. If you decide to take any shortcuts, you will end up going back to the point where you started, other than having to have continued on that straight line that you were from. So you end up going a longer distance, taking shortcuts,
Right.
because eventually brings you back to where you started from than having to have gone through the process of the straight line.
Right. And one thing I've also noticed about shortcuts is you actually have to do more
Right.
to get there, really, because you often with shortcuts you're not certain. It's almost like you're taking a risk, more like, not that when you take the normal route you are not taking risks, but with a shortcut the probability of how things are going to go, it's the probability of your chances happening, the probability of things coming through
Right.
is often high.
Right.
It's often low, excuse me. And so sometimes you need to learn more in order to take the shortcut. It's rather than just letting things unfold as it has to. Sometimes you need to be ready to do things quickly,
Yeah.
so as to be able to.
Yeah, and it's so true also because, like I drive a lot and, sometimes you want to go the highway, which is the normal process for you to go to where you want to go. But, sometimes I think, maybe if I can take this exit and, there's a shortcut here and then get to my destination. Sometimes I only get there only to realize there's actually even a longer traffic on that shortcut. But the problem is there is no way to get back on the highway. So I end up staying in that small lane longer than I would have going on the highway, because on the highway there's always a free flow traffic.
Right, and as someone said, when you take shortcuts, you get cut short. And so sometimes, that's also one of the things about shortcuts, because it's almost like sometimes you feel you've done so much to be able to want to be able to achieve it so quickly that even if you had a choice to go back, you don't want to.
Right.
Because there's a little bit of pride, or you just don't think it's worth it. And sometimes you're just stuck. Actually, in your case, you're just stuck. There's
you're
no
stuck.
turning back. And still, some way, somehow, you have to learn through the process by
Right.
waiting. So,
Right.
at the end of the day, it's just recognizing that success is not, it doesn't happen in the twinkle of an eye. And that's why I believe we do try as much as possible to want to set distant goals, but the reality is success is with us, and it's in the things we do every single day.
Success is with us and in the things we do every day. I have just a couple seconds before I end the show today. You're full of inspiration. Who inspires you?
I love Maya Angelou. I love Maya Angelou so much. I think she had a lot. She is a successful woman. I think if there's someone who outside an example of a successful person is Maya Angelou, because she was able to utilize her gifts and her talents.
It's amazing. Amazing. Okay, so Everyday Success. Where can we get the book?
The book is actually available online right now and also on Kindle.
And I'm told that you are doing a 50-50 promotion, like 50% for the first 50 people to enter the code that you have.
Absolutely. The first 50 people who get the book are going to get 50% off. So I'll advise, to get it right away.
Okay, so you heard it all. 50 for 50. 50% for the first 50 people. All you have to do is just put in the code TM50 in the coupon side on the website link that you see right here on the screen. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been Oracle Television Network. My name is Hans Peter Nkansah. See you another time.